Some of Prince Andrew's royal trappings now falling away. Still a prince, but he won't use his title Duke of York anymore, and he'll give up membership of the Order of the Garter, bestowed on him by the late Queen. One of his last appearances in public was here at the funeral of the Duchess of Kent, still very much part of the royal family and sharing what appeared to be strained exchanges. King Charles and Prince William thought to be pivotal in this latest decision.
Prince William would have been all over this, and of course to protect the position of the king. So it's significant in as much as it reveals the palace's attitude to Prince Andrew, that is enough, and now they have gone as far as they can in cutting him adrift.
So why now? Well, the last few years have seen a series of scandals for Prince Andrew. In his disastrous interview with Newsnight in 2019, Andrew said he'd broken off his friendship with Jeffrey Epstein in 2010, but then recent emails appear to show he'd written to Epstein after that time, claiming they were in this together and saying to stay in touch. But also questions over his finances and links to an alleged Chinese spy who was said to have become a confidant. It was also reported he'd held meetings with a member of China's ruling Politburo multiple times, the same individual that was suspected of being the recipient of sensitive information passed to China. Allegations the Chinese deny. And next week sees the publication of a posthumous memoir by the woman Prince Andrew claimed not to know.
I can absolutely categorically tell you it never happened.
Virginia Giuffre, who accused Andrew of having sex with her 3 times from when she was 17, alleging the prince behaved as though sex with her was his birthright. Although Andrew denies any liability, he settled a civil case with Giuffre for a reported £12 million. Many critics, including Virginia Giuffre's brother, say he shouldn't be a prince either, including in this interview today with ITV News.
I first want to commend the king, and I want to commend the UK for taking some action. It is, while it may not be enough in a lot of ways that the survivors view it, it's still a lot more than what we've been given from our own government here, even though we possess the Epstein files, quote unquote. Now, for the king, I think there's more that he could do. I think he could also, for at least from the people that I've discussed it with that are UK correspondents, that he does have the ability to strip him even further of the prince title, which we would call upon. I would also call for the king and other world leaders to put more pressure on the US government to release the files. I know his brother may be implicated in these, and I get that's a big decision, but it's also the right thing to do.
In a statement, Prince Andrew said, "In discussion with the King and my immediate and wider family, we have concluded the continued accusations about me distract from the work of His Majesty and the royal family. I will therefore no longer use my title or the honours which have been conferred upon me. As I've said previously, I vigorously deny the accusations against me." It's not just Andrew who'll be impacted by this. His ex-wife Sarah Ferguson, who he still lives with, will no longer use the title of Duchess of York either. Several charities have already severed ties with her, but his daughters, Beatrice and Eugenie, will still be princesses. And he can still live here in Windsor, continuing to live at Royal Lodge, at least for now, a large property on the wider estate surrounding Windsor Castle, although it's thought he won't be allowed to attend the annual Royal Christmas get-together at Sandringham. Ultimately, Prince Andrew's image is at odds with that the royal family is now trying to project. And 67% of Britons are in favour of stripping Andrew of his titles, according to a recent poll by YouGov.
I think he should definitely take as little to do with the royal family as possible, because he let them down badly with his connection.
Yeah, I think it's about time. I think he's embarrassed himself enough, to be honest. So, yeah, good riddance.
I think he's an embarrassment to the royal family, but I think he was heavily protected by the Queen, being the favourite son, so yeah.
This is a personal humiliation for Andrew, for sure, but on a grander scale, losing a couple of titles perhaps pales into insignificance compared with the continued fallout from the prince's problems, which simply refuse to go away.
Well, joining me now is the historian Andrew Loney, whose latest book is entitled The Rise and Fall of the House of York. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Why do you think this has happened now?
Well, I think it's happening now because there's been an increasing amount of publicity coming out. Almost every day there's some scandal about Andrew. So we've had a couple of stories of leaked emails, which I think have come from Ghislaine Maxwell, showing that he remained in contact, and Sarah Ferguson remained in contact with Epstein long after they claimed to have cut those links. We've seen publicity about his links with Chinese spies. And I think the worry is that there's more stuff still to come out. There clearly is more material from the Epstein papers. Virginia Giuffre's book itself doesn't have anything new, but it's clearly a reminder of his relationship with her. We've got a book called Blue Butterfly coming out next month, another victim's memoir. We're likely to get victims on Capitol Hill beginning to speak. And so I think that the idea was they need to nip this in the bud. The problem is, I think it's too little and too late. I mean, nothing really is changing.
Presumably they should have nipped it in the bud after the Newsnight interview in 2019, no?
Well, exactly. I mean, I think, that he's saying that, for the sake of the country and the monarchy, I'm going now. Well, he should have done that a long time ago. They should have pushed him out. I mean, we have to remember that the palace actually tried to cover up this story for a long time. So ABC television, for example, in the States wanted to cover it and were threatened by the palace that they would have no access to members of the royal family if they went ahead with their programme. So it's a slight change of tune there.
So who do you think is behind this change in tune? Is it the king that's backing this, or is it Prince William?
It's Prince William. I think we're in a transitional period. I mean, King Charles is actually very ill. William is beginning to call the shots. He's much more ruthless than his father. And I think he can see the huge reputational damage that's been done. I think, again, one of the reasons the timing is that people are beginning to criticise King Charles for being weak and not doing anything. And I think they realise they needed to do something. I have to say, I don't think it's enough. I agree entirely with the Roberts family.
Also, the family, they're calling for more titles to be removed and the Prince title to be removed. Just how likely is that to happen, though? Presumably, Buckingham Palace will feel like this is as far as they can go.
Well, they may feel that, but it's not. I don't think it is as far as they should go. All that's happened is the titles have gone into abeyance. They're not being used. He still remains a Councillor of State. I think he still remains an honorary Vice Admiral. So I think the public, they're behind public opinion here. Public opinion wants Andrew to pay some sort of penalty, and there's no sign he's doing that. He's not longer a duke. He's simply a prince. He's still living in Royal Lodge. There's been no apology, no explanation of, in fact, those links with Epstein. And we've got to remember that this isn't just a story about sex allegations. It's a story about how he was corrupt in the way he acted as the special trade envoy.
Of course, Andrew will deny all of this and he's not here to defend himself. But I just wanted to finally ask you, with all of this, is it just the mere mention of Prince Andrew? Is that still enough to taint the reputation of the royal family, just even hearing his name? So this really isn't going away, is it?
It's not going to go away. We're going to get more and more disclosures. He's still there running around on the Windsor estate. He needs what happened with the Duke of Windsor. He was sent into exile, and that's what needs to happen with Andrew. And we also don't want Sarah Ferguson popping up promoting something on a shopping channel soon.
OK, Andrew Loney, we've got to leave it there. Thank you very much for coming into the studio. Thank you.
Thank you.